So yes, there are some bad people who say inappropriate things. There are some people who say hateful things. They have no place in these protests. They are not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the vast majority of New Yorkers, like the vast majority of Americans who believe in peaceful, democratic process. I don't care where they are in the political spectrum. The vast majority of our citizens are good and decent people who do not say negative things, racist things, nasty things to police, threatening things to police. The few who want conflict attempt that. And unfortunately, so many times you guys enable that.
I just don't have any idea what the heck he's talking about. Maybe Congressman Peter King, member of the House Homeland Security Committee and chair of the House Subcommittee on Counterterrorism and Intelligence, the key word there, intelligence, could help us. Hello, Congressman. Merry Christmas to you.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you very much.
For a while there yesterday, he was humble, but then he got his, I don't know what, his back up, and he started attacking the media because one of the media members dared to say that some protesters were chanting, we want dead cops, and they hit cops, and they throw fake blood on cops, and he went nuts.
First of all, you're expecting a lot from me if you want me to explain what goes on in Bill de Blasio's mind. But seriously on this is a very serious issue. He's trying to rewrite history here. The fact is, if you're the mayor of a city and you allow protesters, which they say are peaceful protesters, to take over the Brooklyn Bridge, to shut down traffic, to keep people virtually imprisoned in their cars for 2.5 hours, to shut down the West Side Highway, then to have people, these so-called protesters, assaulting cops, putting a cop in the hospital, attempting to throw garbage cans down on police officers from a bridge, and for him to call that an alleged assault, and then going forward, when there was a chanting of, what do we want?
Dead cops, yeah.
Dead cops, when do we want it now? Whether or not that was a few hundred or a few thousand, once that got out there, he had an absolute obligation as mayor to go on television, to forcefully denounce it, to denounce it in every way. I mean, if people were demonstrating and saying they wanted dead blacks or dead gays or dead women or dead anyone, to me, a mayor, a governor, a president, whoever jurisdiction is in, has an absolute obligation to come forward, especially as the mayor of the city, when he, in fact, is the commander-in-chief of the police force, and these are his cops, and virtually every mayor, even people like John Lindsay and David Dinkins, who had difficulties with the police along the way, nothing like this. They looked upon the cops as being their cops, a personal attachment to them, and that people say they want them dead, and for him to not respond and not to do so forcefully. Yeah, they can find.
But you make a great point, Congressman. I mean, if there were a group out there chanting, dead gays or women or blacks, whatever, do you believe he'd be singing a different tune? Correct?
Absolutely, and rightfully so. Not rightfully so. There'd be a different tune.
Right.
But,
he'd be singing the right tune. Yeah.
You have absolute obligation to do it, and so the cops see that, people see that, and that's why people like myself say that the climate that he has helped create. In fact, now we understand that the killer of the two police officers was at one of these
rallies. Was at a rally, yeah.
Yeah, but people like him who are on the edges of society, they get encouraged. Their worst instincts are encouraged when they see something like this. And as a person in public life, the mayor has an absolute obligation to realize the power of his rhetoric, what it means.
And Congressman, I also, just as I was waiting for you, Wolf Blitzer was on earlier on CNN, and he said, I want to point out that this is what he said, 99.99% of the protesters are good and peaceful. I mean, they don't talk that way about Tea Party protesters. If there's one guy does one thing, it's the whole Tea Party. I mean, the media double standard here is incredible. They go out of their way to make sure we all know that 99.9% of these protesters are lovely people. And how the heck do we know that?
Well, I tell you, I guess we have to go on anecdotes. And I know from talking to cops, the words that they're called, the cursing that's going on toward them, the threats being made at them on the picket lines, by the protesters, the anger, the rage that's coming from those protesters. These are not, many of them are not good people. So where that 99.9% comes from, I don't know.
Congressman, I know, and it's just an agenda on the part of the media like it's all been. Hey, sorry so short. Great to speak to you. Thanks for all you do for this show. We'll speak to you. Have a happy, healthy Merry Christmas and New Year, and we'll speak to you soon, sir.
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to all your listeners, and we have to go forward as a country, and we got
Gotcha.
we got to get tough.
Thank you, Congressman. Congressman Peter King. George Pataki next.